The retirement fight is set against Max Holloway for the BMF title.
Super excited. There's nobody else I'd rather be standing across from. When I go into my final fight, Max is a legend. I got so much respect for the guy. That was his first fight in the UFC, and he's gonna be my last.
Paddy Pimblett has boldly thrown down the gauntlet when it comes to the upcoming trilogy fight between Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway.
The Holloway-Poirier fight, who do you think walks away from that?
I can see Holloway winning, to be honest. Don't know why.
Yeah.
I think Holloway's motivated. Like, heavy for Holloway, that, like, if there's two different fighters who've beat him 3 times, I've seen him say something like, he took a lot from me, he took me first, give me my first loss, and he took away me, like, 8-fight win streak or whatever it was, so I'm going to take his retirement fight.
Pimblett's prediction holds some intrigue, especially given the high stakes of this particular matchup. In his mind, Max Holloway's motivation for this fight could very well give him the edge over Poirier, even though Poirier is riding a wave of local support in New Orleans, his hometown. According to Pimblett, while Poirier might appear to be the favorite due to his previous successes over Holloway, the emotional weight of the situation could work against him. Poirier's upcoming retirement after this fight brings an undeniable level of pressure that could be too much to handle.
Like, who do you think walks away from that? Because Poirier's 2-0 against him.
I know, that's what I mean. Imagine
yeah.
it'd be heavy for Holloway, that, like, if there's two different fighters who've beat him 3 times.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I seen him say something like, you know, he took a lot from me, he took me first, give me my first loss, and he took away me, like, 8-fight win streak or whatever it was, so I'm going to take his retirement fight.
Oh,
so I think
that's cold.
Yeah.
That's tight, yeah.
I think Holloway's motivated, like, and
Pimblett's reasoning goes deeper than just the fanfare surrounding Poirier's farewell. He acknowledges that Poirier, having already defeated Holloway twice, has earned the right to feel like he's in control of the narrative. However, Pimblett sees Holloway's hunger for revenge, especially after his brutal knockout loss to Ilia Topuria, as a significant driving factor. Holloway's resolve to make a statement after that loss is something Pimblett believes could swing the momentum in his favor. Max is no stranger to adversity, and now, with the pain of that defeat fresh in his mind, he could come into the fight with a chip on his shoulder, more determined than ever to turn the tables on Poirier.
I can see Holloway winning, to be honest. Don't know why. I think it's just one of them. Dustin fighting in his hometown, his last fight, everyone expects him to win, the pressure. I think it might...
Man, you picked Holloway too. Like,
yeah,
he could have probably picked someone that was a little more favorable. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know why?
I think it's a bit more favorable because he's beaten twice, though.
Sure, I think so. I think so. Yeah, but I mean, but it's also the business move because you need to have a title for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't need that
right?
shit. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Who's going to walk out first? Who's going to walk out second? Because they're saying
you can't have Poirier walk out first.
That's what I mean. And they're saying it's the BMF belt, his hometown. He's coming out. He might come out first. Like,
it is Holloway versus Poirier too, right? On the bill.
Yeah.
And then Ige and Pitbull are the co-main.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
And Zell Huber and Michael Johnson on that card.
Yeah,
that's a fun fight. I like that fight a lot.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Poirier's final fight will take place in front of a crowd that has seen him grow from a promising talent to a respected champion. The energy from his New Orleans fans could, in theory, propel him to a memorable farewell victory. Yet there is a catch. Pimblett believes the very weight of those expectations might just make Poirier's job harder. When fighters announce their retirement, there's often a subtle shift in their mentality, and Pimblett isn't shy to mention that this could work against Poirier. He draws from past examples of fighters who declared their retirement before stepping into the cage and found themselves unexpectedly defeated, perhaps due to a lack of focus or an emotional disconnect from the fight itself. Especially when all eyes are on you could impact Poirier's ability to maintain his usual intensity.
When I first got to the UFC, like, you win a big fight, that high lasted for months because that's how long it was until the next event. Now you win on a Saturday, by the time you fly back home, it's fight week again for somebody.
Yeah, it's kind of a blessing and a curse because also then if you don't get the win, that goes away pretty quick too.
Because somebody's getting f***ed up the next Saturday.
You're almost hoping somebody gets really f***ed up so that people forget quicker.
Yeah, I hope somebody gets kicked in the head. That way they're talking about that one, you know?
Max Holloway is aware of the stakes, but unlike Poirier, he doesn't see this as merely a fight to add to his record. For Holloway, it's a shot at redemption and a chance to regain his spot in the title conversation. While he's not dismissing the importance of Poirier's retirement, Holloway's focus is on securing his place at the top of the lightweight division once again. Holloway sees this trilogy as his opportunity to spoil Poirier's plans and show the world that he still has what it takes to challenge for a championship. With the lightweight title picture in flux after Charles Oliveira's shocking loss to Ilia Topuria, Holloway recognizes that a win over Poirier could be his ticket back to the title fight he has been eyeing for so long.
This was just announced, the trilogy bout with Dustin Poirier. Another man that I think that displays ultimate character.
Oh yeah.
You know, how do you see this one playing out?
Oh, I'm 0-2 against him, you know what I mean? And then Hawaii is 3, he's 0-3 against him because Jans fought him too. Yeah, he fought Jans in Louisiana actually. I kind of just got told that from one of our coaches, so I was like, man, we gotta get this back, bro. Hawaii gotta get one, bro.
Yes.
Hawaii gotta get one,
Yes.
you know what I mean? And it's a BMF title, and I keep hearing people say if he wins, then they take the title away and they retire the title. So I'm like, bro, this ain't happening.
It's your title.
Yeah, this ain't happening yet. So at the end of the day, I'm good friends with Korean Zombie. I retired one legend, you know what I mean? So hopefully we can keep the ball rolling on retirements, and I can get this one.
Holloway's mindset heading into the third encounter is one of pure determination. He is fully aware of the significance this fight holds for both fighters, but insists that his goal remains unchanged: to win. There's no denying that Poirier has a compelling reason to give everything he's got, but Holloway's self-belief and hunger for another title shot seem to be driving him just as strongly. Holloway knows that if he can overcome Poirier in their third bout, it will send a powerful message to the entire UFC lightweight division. His victory could put him back in the conversation for a title shot, making this a pivotal moment in his career.
We can stir up the rankings right now. It's a lot of people keep saying there's a way to the title. I have a history with the champion. I have a history with the man who just fought the champion. So then first things first is Dustin Poirier, of course, but rankings doesn't really mean nothing. It's showing, anybody can step up, and anytime UFC come knocking at your door, you just gotta be ready.
You caused me to pull them up now, and yeah, that top 6 out lightweight is crazy. You're ahead of Dustin and Justin, and Charles Oliveira ahead of you, and you have wins over both of them. So it doesn't really make sense, but here we are. You'll have the chance to change it up in a few days here, Max.
For sure.
You're gonna be the first to attempt to. Or I guess Justin tried to defend that BMF belt, but if you win here, you'll be the first to successfully do it. Is that like a thought going into your mind with the BMF? Did you think they would bring it back for this fight after the last one, or what was your thoughts when they mentioned all that?
I mean, not really. It is what it is. It's another fight. I'm fucking 1-3 in one trilogy. I'm not trying to be 1-3 in 2 trilogies. So that's the main thing going through my mind, right now. So. And then it's BMF. The BMF title is cool and everything, and making history is great. But the main history I ain't trying to make is trying to be a man who fought 2 different trilogies and went 0-3. So at the end of the day, I'm focused on going out there, getting my hand raised. Shout out to DP. He's a diamond. He's a beast, bro. He's an animal. He's a legend. And I know it's his last dance, but I gotta play the spoiler here. I need this one.
As fight fans eagerly anticipate what's sure to be another exciting showdown, the stylistic matchup between the two fighters makes this fight all the more intriguing. Poirier's heavy hands and Holloway's fluid striking combinations are likely to create an exciting exchange of blows, and the intensity will only be heightened by the emotional stakes surrounding Poirier's retirement. Fans are already expecting fireworks when these two step into the octagon for their third encounter, and there's a real possibility that this fight will live up to the hype.
Max Holloway is a guy you've fought before. How did this come together that he would be the final opponent?
I don't even know how this came together. This one's different. Usually it's like 1-1, or I'm 2-0 on Max, but he's a legend and a great fighter and a great champion. And like we spoke about earlier, just see the things he's done in his career, from that young kid I fought in his debut all the way full circle. I was his first fight in the UFC. Now he's going to be my last fight in the UFC. So it's just, it's crazy. But when I lay the gloves down in July, there's nobody else that I would rather have fought my last fight than Max Holloway.
But what happens if Poirier manages to end his career with a victory? Will he hang up his gloves for good after UFC 318? Or could we see one more chapter written in his legendary career? According to recent comments, Poirier hasn't ruled out the possibility of one final challenge. If he wins, Poirier might just entertain the idea of facing the newly crowned lightweight champion, Ilia Topuria, in a title bout. Poirier's respect for Topuria is clear, but his focus remains firmly on his last fight, as he's made it known that this is the final time he'll step into the octagon.
Yeah, I don't know what their thought process was of putting this together for me and Max, but I have a lot of respect for him, so it made sense to me. I said legends only. He definitely fits that.
People thought Ilia Topuria changing his name to the Legend, it might be that, but was that ever discussed at all?
Not once. Actually, when he said he was going to 55, I texted Hunter. I texted UFC. I said, hey, what's up? Let me know what's going on with this guy now. He's a 55. But they never entertained it. They told me it's not happening, and they wanted Max.
However, not everyone is so confident in Poirier's ability to go out on a high note. In a recent interview, Islam Makhachev, the reigning lightweight champion, expressed his belief that Poirier is ready for this moment. Makhachev is no stranger to the pressures of a career-defining fight, and he believes that Poirier's decision to retire after this bout could actually make him more dangerous. Makhachev believes that Poirier's commitment to his final fight will fuel his performance, as he will be fully dedicated to leaving the sport on his own terms. In his mind, Poirier's focus and clarity of purpose will be a driving factor in this fight, making him a formidable opponent for Holloway.
Who do you think wins between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier in a few weeks?
I think Dustin has more chance. He told me this is his last fight. He gonna be ready and he gonna win, I think.
Still, there are others who see things differently. Eddie Alvarez, a former lightweight champion with plenty of experience in big fights, raised an important point about fighters who announce their retirement before their final bout. Alvarez's take adds another layer of uncertainty to this highly anticipated trilogy, as it's unclear whether Poirier's mental state will be his biggest obstacle heading into the fight.
How do you think that one goes?
Damn. You know, like, Dustin beat him twice already, right? Beat Max twice. Yeah. Here's the thing with retirement fights and when people announce them that I don't like. This is what I don't like. People, if you are saying I'm done, right? Then you're already done. And there's this small little thing in your mind where you've checked out, even if you trained really hard and you put your best camp in and all that. And this is a sport where you have to be all in mentally, physically, emotionally. And I never like when guys pre-commit to being finished and then still fighting their last fight. When over time, as I watched that happen, the guy I watch, maybe it could be like 70-80% of the time that guy doesn't win.
Curtis Blades, a heavyweight contender with a keen sense for strategy, has his own take on the fight. Blades suggests that Poirier may actually face more pressure than he's used to, given the circumstances surrounding the fight. Fighting at home, in front of a crowd that will expect him to win and send the fans home happy, could make this one of the most stressful nights of Poirier's career. Add to that, the fact that this will be his last fight and the weight of the moment might be too heavy for him to handle. While Poirier may be the favorite in some corners, Blades believes that the pressure of the occasion could affect Poirier's performance in ways that might not be apparent at first glance. This is a sentiment shared by many who see the emotional stakes as a potential factor that could lead to an upset.
I have no idea. It's just gonna be a war. It'll probably go to decision. I hope it goes to a decision. It's gonna be an epic fight. I want Holloway to win just because I'm a Edgar Holloway fan. I am Poirier, but I'm a fan of them both. But I'm a Edgar Holloway guy.
So you're going with Holloway or going with Poirier?
I'm gonna go with Holloway, but I wouldn't be upset if it was Poirier. I respect him that much, and I know it's gonna be a war.
Charles Oliveira, having shared the octagon with both Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway, offered his perspective on their upcoming trilogy fight. While Oliveira's encounter with Holloway was cut short due to injury, he still had a chance to observe Holloway's aggressive style and high output striking. He noted that Holloway's relentless pace and constant movement are significant strengths, allowing him to dominate in volume and pressure. However, when it came to pure striking skill, Oliveira leaned towards Poirier, highlighting the Louisiana native's superior boxing technique.
O que você acha que essa agora é a trilogia? Cara, quando eu lutei com o Holloway, eu não tive a luta, né? Porque foi muito rápido, por causa que eu tive uma lesão, né? Eu acho o Holloway um cara que se movimenta muito, um cara que pega. Mas, cara, o Dustin Poirier é um cara que eu tenho um respeito gigantesco. Pra mim, de todos que eu lutei, é o cara que tem um boxe mais afiado, é o cara que bate mais consciente, tem a mão muito pesada, né? Sabe jogar o jogo, vai lutar na casa praticamente, então eu acho que o Poirier ganha. Pode estar muito mais consciente, tá ligado?
Michael Bisping couldn't contain his excitement about the upcoming showdown. He pointed out that the announcement has gained tremendous traction across social media, with fans buzzing about the fight's implications. According to Bisping, the real draw for many is that this fight marks the end of Poirier's remarkable MMA career, closing a legendary chapter. He didn't shy away from calling the matchup sensational, underscoring the historical weight behind it and the excitement it has generated among fans eager to witness such a significant moment in the sport's history.
It's finally been announced. It is official. And no, I'm not talking about the headliner for International Fight Week. I'm not talking about John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. And I'm certainly not talking about Jake Paul's next bloody opponent. No, I'm talking about the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, taking on the one and only Max Blessed Holloway in Dustin Poirier's final fight. All you gotta do is Google the name Dustin Poirier. It is literally all over the internet. This just broke a few hours ago. I can't wait for it. This is a sensational fight and the final fight of Dustin Poirier's legendary career. It's set to go down at UFC 318, which is in New Orleans. So it's going to be a home fight for Dustin Poirier. The crowd is going to go absolutely mental.
So what will happen when the bell rings for the third time? Will Poirier be able to ride the emotional wave of his hometown crowd to victory? Or will Holloway spoil the party and solidify his place in the lightweight title picture? The answers to these questions will only be revealed on July 19th, but one thing is for sure, this fight is shaping up to be one of the most compelling matchups in recent UFC history. With so much at stake for both men, there's no telling what might unfold inside the octagon.